and welcome back to Bless Your Heart. I'm Heather.
And I'm Carlyle. A quick disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. Everything discussed are our lived experiences and opinions. We asked last week, are aliens visitors from other worlds or demonic spirits in disguise? Tonight, is the world a stage whose actors keep us in confusion and fear? And why do certain places make people disappear?
And we're not experts, we're detectives of meaning. We watch patterns, we trust intuition, and we question the narrative.
So let's dive into it.
Let's go.
So this week, jumping into the Bless Your Heart moment of the week, I thought we would dive a little bit into the Charlie Kirk assassination and our thoughts on what was it really? Was it political? Was it some madman? Or was it something bigger? You know, the sacrifice aspect of it all, I couldn't help but realize that the night before he was shot, I was driving home from visiting my stepdaughter at college, and there was the biggest harvest moon I have ever seen in my life. Like some guy pulled up next to us at the red light and was like, because I was taking a picture of it, and he was like, "Can you believe it? It was giant, it was orange, and it was ominous, really."
Yeah.
And then the next day you wake up and you hear that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. And then I go to look up, like, what does the harvest moon mean when there's someone of a big stance that is assassinated? And obviously ritual sacrifice. Like, what for? I'm not sure, but it was some sort of ritual sacrifice. And then you pair that with the fact that he's being buried on the eclipse. It's like, it's spooky.
It just starts to make us question everything. I mean, I have more questions. I mean, I don't have any answers. It's all questions for me. And then the more people investigate everything that the news put on, or, you know, people had their own videos, people are dissecting it, and just more questions start. I mean, did all this happen because the eclipse and the universe, God is like taking out whoever needs to be taken out for a purpose? Maybe that purpose was for us to start questioning Israel. You know, I mean, we've always thought Israel was like our best friend. And then we find out Charlie Kirk was on Megyn Kelly's podcast. I don't know how much longer before that happened, but they were discussing how you're not allowed to talk about Israel. And that kind of makes you wonder, you know, somebody we always thought was our best friend is possibly now holding politicians. I mean, then you go down that rabbit hole and we learn that each politician has an APAC person. Are they the handlers of our politicians? I mean, it makes you wonder. And even, what's her name? Margaret Green. I mean, she's being interviewed by Megyn Kelly talking about this exact subject, about how all these our politicians go over to Israel for a couple days, do all these things. And why? I mean, Israel uses us for all of our military. A lot of money goes over to Israel. I don't know. It just makes you wonder. I mean, there's other things that are going on around the Charlie Kirk thing too. Like, people are wondering, is he really dead? I mean, it's like two completely different things. Have you seen anything like that on social media or people?
Yeah. No, it's the rabbit holes about the Charlie Kirk, which the rabbit holes about everything are so wild. You know, now they say it's like Candace Owens, or like she's throwing up this sign all the time and talking about the 666. And then it's like, is the world a stage? You know, we talked about Project Bluebeam last week, and it's like, what is really going on in the world? Like, this was a show. It was like for all of us to see and have to live. And it was like the point of the sacrifice, how it was like sealed in, was to be in such a grand display of just show for everyone. Like, when has the internet ever let you watch somebody's assassination like that happen?
Yeah.
Like, from every angle. And then the reason I think that Israel may have something to do with it is just because Charlie was starting to question things.
Yeah.
He was very good friends with Candace, who really questions things. And it's like, my husband, who like studied the Bible a lot in college, he went to a very strict Christian university. like we talked about it, it says like the people of Israel like are God's people, but it does not anywhere say that like the politicians of
Yeah,
Israel are
government,
our
yeah.
people and like we owe them like blind loyalty. Like if I were evil, the first place that I would try to infiltrate is the place that the Lord tells his people that they should trust. Like, it's just kind of common sense. And then the other way I look at it is like, was it to scare and silence Candace Owens? Was it like,
Ooh,
hey, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to
yeah,
kill your best friend because, like, what is worse than killing you? Killing
yeah,
somebody close to you and, like, you have to live with all that, but it doesn't sound like to me that she's being quiet or backing
yeah.
down.
They're definitely
Um,
trying to silence her for
but
sure,
I do
trying to
think
scare her.
I do think that she's getting distracted though. She's very into the Charlie thing, so it's like distracting her from what else that she
Uh,
was
that's
covering.
probably
So
done on
maybe it's
purpose
like
as well.
pulling her away from all of
Yeah,
that
very
is
well
like
could
an
be.
interesting way to look at it. And, you know,
Talk about
fear equals control. You right?
yes, yes.
Fear equals control. So it's even like I
No
started
energy.
to fear us doing this podcast because I was like, oh my gosh, people are so deranged. Are they going to be so upset that we're asking questions and like just, looking into things and
Yeah,
having an alternate like way of looking at what we've been
yeah,
taught? Like, are people that deranged? Like, I really thought, like, oh, should I just be quiet? But that is what they want. They want us to be quiet. They don't want us to question anything. They want to make us fearful. It's like all of the outrage on both sides of the Charlie Kirk, like he deserved it or he didn't deserve it. Like they could be harvesting that energy because it was crazy. I feel things. I felt physically ill from all of the energy after all of that. And I felt ill like ever
yes,
since then. And it's like we're in
and
this
done on
weird
purpose.
cycle where I've been
Yeah.
like sucked into this vortex and I was like, what is going on out there?
Well, they say, there's a lot of like positive high energy in September coming to Earth. And so I wonder if the Illuminati knows that. And so they let this assassination happen on top of like the ritual part with the eclipse and all to lower the vibration of everyone because everyone, I mean, there was like a whole thing in Somerville here for Charlie Kirk, like 3,000, 4,000 people and Turning Point USA and then some of the politicians that were getting ready to run, were there, for Charlie Kirk. So I mean, I think it brings people together for positiveness too. But when everybody's so sad, it lowers everybody's energy. You get sick when that happens, like what you're feeling. I mean, you've been sick for what, 2 weeks now? Week and a half?
Yeah, I mean, like, not
Yeah.
anything specific either, just,
Yeah,
like,
just
odd ailments, like, little things here and there that you're like, "What is going on?" It's like,
yeah.
when, like, the radio is going out and it's like, "Arr," and it's all over the place, that's, like, kinda how my body feels. But, it's like when you talk about Candace Owens questioning Israel, people that start questioning, it's like everything I feel like ties back to the CIA and Mossad and how they
Yeah.
control everything. And like we can even look into like the Jeffrey Epstein angle of it all. It's like
Yeah.
I'm convinced that Jeffrey Epstein was actually just like the person that these agencies put into place, like hired him essentially
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
collect all of this blackmail. Like,
Yep.
he's not a mastermind of that. Like, from everything that I've heard, people talk about interviews about him, he was, like, not that bright of a guy. Like, even when he talked about the areas that he was supposed to be, like, an expert in, like, no one could
Yeah.
ever say he was a remarkable man. So you think that he actually was the mastermind of blackmailing every president, every politician, like, and then so
Royalty.
it's like
Yeah.
I thought about this, and I've never thought about this until
What?
today. So
What?
you have Epstein could be the person that was hired from CIA, Mossad to gather
Yeah.
all the blackmail. Well, does that mean that Ghislaine is actually the mastermind behind it all? Because her father, Robert Maxwell, was
I
known to
believe
be
so.
in Mossad, and maybe like Ghislaine was hired from Mossad to help find this Jeffrey Epstein-esque character, and maybe she groomed him. I mean, that
Oh,
is a
I
wild theory that
it
I've
is
never thought about, and it's all
makes sense.
speculation,
Yeah,
but it's like,
makes sense.
what
They
if what
pretend to be
if
lovers. They might have been, but who knows? Yeah.
yeah, but what if
Like the
she's
Mr.
not,
and
like
Mrs. Smith. Maybe that's why they made the
right.
movie.
Yeah, everybody wants to say that, like I don't have any evidence to back any of that up, but it's
Yeah.
just, like, something I thought about today where I was like, Jeffrey Epstein doesn't seem like the mastermind that could have done all of this, like, he just doesn't seem like that type of person. It's like, so but then you have Ghislaine, who has the obvious tie to
Your
Mossad
dad.
via her father,
Yeah.
Robert Maxwell, so,
Well, and
like
who killed him? Who pushed him off the boat? Israel?
you're
Like, who did
right?
that? Like, that's kinda it's like, you do one wrong thing and
He had, like, a really religious I don't think that would have been Israel, though, because he had, like, a really religious funeral and, like, a sacred place that Israel held for him, which is even more ties to the fact that he was working for them.
ooh, they wonder if we did it. So do you the biggest question is, do you think Epstein killed himself? Do you think he's even dead? I don't think he is.
I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he is either. There's a funny song on TikTok. It's hilarious. Have you heard it? It's like a song that goes in the background. Anyway.
No, I haven't.
And just a reminder that Epstein didn't kill himself. It's like the end of the song. But
Dude, he's
anyway,
not even dead. He's just chilling on an island somewhere.
yeah.
It, like, makes you think that, like, all of these characters, like, what if they're not dead? What if they're just, like there's, like, some land somewhere where you go when your part's over and they put you there?
Well, apparently they're all in New Zealand. Did you see where Cash Patel was saying how he was going to see Charlie Kirk and what was it called? Valura? I don't know. It's in New Zealand, a little island, and come to find out it's a real place. A guy on
No.
TikTok said it. That made me go down a whole nother rabbit hole. I was like, oh my God.
So so it's like the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, what was it? It was who was it for? I believe it was for ritualistic purposes, which just leads you to the whole battle of, like, good versus evil. You never know where evil is gonna, like, infiltrate. Like, you gotta use your gifts of discernment to talk about things and just, like, trust yourself. So it's like if energy spaces can be used for good and evil, what does that mean about just, like, the places in the world that hold all of these energetic anomalies? Like, what secrets do they hold? So let's dive into the Bermuda Triangle and
What?
how it all ties into Atlantis and Egypt.
So,
Yeah.
people of Bermuda, there's a guy on TikTok. Remember it. We both saw it. There's a guy on TikTok that lives in Bermuda and says that they think, or some of them think, that they are the Atlantean, like the ancestors of the Atlanteans. And it kind of makes sense. It's right there and, part of the triangle. It goes from what, Bermuda, Miami, Puerto Rico. It very well could be. And we start going down the rabbit hole. Did the Atlanteans, did they do something in the Bermuda Triangle?
I think to understand the Bermuda Triangle, first, we have to look a little bit into the history and the lore and the tale of Atlantis. So, Plato describes Atlantis as this place that was technologically advanced. They had all sorts of different things that we don't have today. But he said that Atlantis was destroyed by a flood approximately 11,600 years ago, and I believe it's like 9,500 BC or
Mhm.
somewhere close to that. But why he believes it was destroyed was because the Atlanteans were playing God. The
Yeah.
Atlanteans had started mixing humans with animals and making hybrids. It would have them as their guards, the powerful people. They were like just like combining man and animal and playing God. So the story goes that God got mad and he decided that that wasn't going to happen and that they were out of control. So he wiped them out with a flood. But legend has it that some of the Atlanteans and even some of the hybrids, apparently the hybrids escaped to deep water caves, and some of the
Yeah.
Atlanteans escaped towards Europe and Africa, ended up in Bermuda and Egypt. And they actually speculate now, some people say that
Mhm.
the Atlanteans were the ones that brought Egypt the technology to build the pyramids because
Ah,
the
that makes
historical
sense.
factor says that there's like no tools that the Egyptians had back then really would have given them this technology to build the pyramids, but the Atlanteans were known to have like crystal energy technology, so it would make sense that like the
Yeah.
crystal energy could cut those rocks and make the pyramids. So
Oh, that
it's
makes
like,
so much sense.
does Egypt have a tie to Atlantis? Were they like maybe the Atlanteans that came there were these aliens that they wrote about in the caves,
Yeah.
and everything? Because they were these people that brought them this technology, but they say that there's no real evidence in like the hieroglyphs and whatnot of Atlantis. But where Plato learned the whole story of Atlantis from was from an Egyptian priest. So somewhere in their history, they were talking about the Atlanteans, and they're so far away, or I mean, we actually don't know where Atlantis was, but how would this one group of people be the ones to pass down the story of Atlantis? And then the Bermudians themselves will say that they're from Atlantis, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to Bermuda. When I was flying back from the airport, there was this big old sign that said, "Fly to Bermuda direct from Charleston." So we need to go. We need to go to Bermuda soon.
Yeah, yeah. So then it's like, okay, so you have the theory that Atlantis was wiped out by a flood. The people fled to Bermuda. They fled to Egypt. They gave the technology to build the pyramids. I mean, it would make sense that they went to Bermuda because it's just like this really random island, like kind of off of our East Coast.
North Carolina, like the Outer Banks almost. And you know how the Outer
Yeah.
Banks goes so far out, you almost wonder, did it connect at one point? I just thought about that. Because the Outer
Yeah.
Banks is really far out in sea compared to Myrtle Beach. Yeah.
There's the theory the flood took it out, but then the people fled. But it's like, what is going on in the Bermuda Triangle, right? So, like, if I'm saying theoretically Atlantis was where the Bermuda Triangle is located, that's my theory. So the people fled. So, what is the energetic anomalies going on? Didn't you learn a lot about the portals?
So, yes, a lot of people are saying that the Atlanteans made a portal where the Bermuda Triangle is. And since they have long past gone, the portal, this is the part I'm not sure about. Like, is it affected when certain storms happen? Is it just like being affected every once in a while? So when planes and cargo ships, whatever, go through it and all of a sudden they're missing, did the portal just open up? I mean, there's all kinds of planes going through the Bermuda Triangle all the time, ships going through there all the time, and they don't go missing. So how come just every once in a while, right? So I was looking up some facts. So back in December 5th, 1945, there was 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers. There were 14 airmen that were lost, and so they had a search plane go out with about 13 people. It also was lost at sea and never heard of again. Then they had a Navy cargo ship in March of 1918. It was the USS Cyclops, and it was leaving. It was leaving Barbados to Baltimore. It had 306 crew members. They were never found. It was the largest life lost in the Navy history at that time, which is a pretty big deal. So where the hell did they all go? So you just kind of start to wonder. I mean, and then you start going down the rabbit hole. Well, okay, you see, I believe there are portals. I believe there are portals all over the place. Good, and people use them for good and people use them for bad. But when you go through a portal, do you feel any pain? Like, do you feel anything? Like some of the airmen that actually did make it through the Bermuda Triangle and came out on the other side, like all of a sudden they're in Miami. They just say like they feel a little disoriented, but they don't feel sick or anything. They just feel like foggy, brain fog. But other than that, I mean, they're fine. So where are all the other ones in the portal? Are they living like their best life somewhere? Are they still in our dimension? Or are they in another dimension on Earth. But I mean, maybe they're like right where the Bermuda Triangle is, but like another dimension, you know? I mean, because everything's happening right now. There is no past and future. Like everything's happening right now, every dimension, supposedly. So if that's the case, they're living some life in another dimension and they can't figure out how to get back. Or maybe they do eventually get back. I don't know. I didn't even thought about that till just now. Maybe
I don't
eventually the portal opens back up and then all of a sudden, like these 306 men come back and the ship's still there. I never thought about that. You know, like,
yeah,
what
I
happens if it
mean,
just shows up again and, like, all the guys are still wearing the same things? I never thought about that till just now. How weird would that be? But then we would know. They just couldn't get the portal to open back up. I don't know. What do you think?
well, science will back it up and say that it's these volcanic gases that just cause the buoyancy of the water to go away and then the ships sink and then the planes fall out of the sky because the gases got up in the sky. Well, if that's the case, how would you never find any of the wreckage? Like five military
Oh,
planes went down and you never found a
never found it.
single bit of debris. There's something energetic about the area that's going on. There are other triangles. I think there's one in Alaska, and then I think I've heard
Yeah.
of one called like the Bridgewater Triangle. I haven't really looked into that, but
Bridgewater?
that's a different one. So it's not just the Bermuda Triangle, and like they will say that no more ships or planes go missing from the Bermuda Triangle than they do anywhere else, like any other seas in the world, but it's just the way that they go missing. So it's like always really mysterious. And then it's just like when you have the people that like flew in and then they showed up somewhere else and like they can't account for the time
And
or
they
how they
can't,
got
yeah.
there, like, they just
Triangle.
all hop through the portal to a
Yeah.
different place. And
Yeah.
it's like maybe it's just an energetic anomaly in the air because like we're all energy, right? We're all vibration. So there's just something out there that causes everything to go haywire and make things just go poof. It just like
Oh,
randomly reminded me of that flight like MH370. Like whatever
right.
happened to it? There's like planes that just like go missing and they're like, we never saw
Oh,
them
yeah.
again.
Never see it again. It's very I mean, that's why I love this stuff because we don't know the answers to it, and there's so many different reasons of why it could be.
I
Um,
know there's so much speculation,
does the
but it
gas make it a portal? I mean, like, portals could also open up due to the certain frequencies at the same time. So, I
yeah.
mean, does gas have a certain frequency? I don't know, but, I mean, they both seem with logic. One funny thing I found when I was doing my research was Elon in an interview talking about eels and how eels migrate to the Bermuda Triangle when they go to basically mate. And I start, going down that rabbit hole. And there's other people that have done research and you find out that all these scientists for years have been trying to figure out where eels come from and their like how their bodies work and all that. They've dissected them and everything. They put trackers on them. So they come from all over to go towards that Bermuda Triangle area. And it's only when they mate. And apparently, as they're heading towards Bermuda Triangle, their reproductive system starts to form. I mean, what on earth? It has to be an alien. I mean, you know how people say octopuses are aliens? I mean, the eel has to be. If our scientists can't figure it out, I mean, it I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting. I've always thought eels were odd, but I never considered them being an alien or possibly from another planet that was sent here or seeded here. I don't know.
Right.
Have you?
So eels could be from a different planet, but it's so crazy that you talk about Elon because it reminds me of like tying everything back into like Atlantis. And what I was thinking about is like the Atlanteans were wiped out for playing God, right? Because they were mixing
Yeah.
man with animal. So they were mixing man with animal. And then what are we doing today? We've
We got
got
the AI,
AI, we've got people
Chat
talking about
GPT.
Okay, we got AI, we got transhumanism, we got ChatGPT, we have, cloning. There's a lot of speculation
A
that little
lot of
Elon is
fun.
actually a clone. CERN has been turned back on, so they're messing
Yeah.
with the weather. We have Rainmaker, which is a weather manipulation company. I mean, Dubai was formed. Literally, the only way that they're able to keep it going is from weather manipulation. Like they have to turn it into this
Oh, that's
oasis
right.
via
I
cloud
remember
seeding,
something. I
and
forgot about that.
occasionally it goes wrong and like Dubai
Oh,
floods.
what?
So it's like we're playing God right now a lot.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they're talking in the United Kingdom. In the UK, it is now legal to have 3 DNA as the parent of a child. So how they're going to have to do this is to artificially grow the child in a different womb. But the way that they're looking at it is eventually you could have 10 parents and they just pick and choose the best DNA qualities that we all have, and they grow this whole species of human. So it's not a
Oh,
mom and a dad anymore. It's 3+ parents contributing to the IQ, the hair color, the
man.
height. Like you could just be able to pick from a bank of DNA qualities that you want from people and insert them into your children, and then they'll be artificially grown in a lab. And to me, that feels like we're going to get wiped out.
Same thing's gonna happen again. Yep.
God is going to
Reset.
say, ain't happening.
I mean, that's what happened to the Greys, apparently. That's why the Greys are coming back. They're humans that where this went wrong and they can't reproduce. So that's why they're coming back to our planet to take samples and, take people up into their spaceships and take DNA and what? Some people say they have kids up in space. Like they remember being, taken and how they remember like feeling that energy of like these kids were hers. I forgot about that. That was an interview I just found randomly and I listened to her several times. But yes, I need to get her name. She was abducted and she said like several times and that her mom was and her grandmother was. So it must be like a certain, blood type or I don't know. There must be some kind of reason. It could be all kinds of
Like, it's like how they speculate about RH negative blood and like where it came from, and it
yeah.
randomly showed up in humans, and like it's just like different things like that. Like I'm O negative. I think that I have the RH negative like gene because of that. So it's like,
Mhm.
am I an alien? Like I keep
Oh,
thinking about like I just keep going back to like if we were aliens, would we even know? Like I think that we're all children of God, but like if we were like not this, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but so, just something to think about. Like, if you were an
different colors
alien,
of people. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we don't look anything like the Chinese people. I mean, I think we are half alien. We have to be. We all look so different, even though we're in like the human form. I think whatever alien came to that area maybe is what we kind of look like. Like we look more like the Pleiadians or Pleiades or whatever. But talking about blood type, there is a chart where it has every blood type and what alien you could be. Now, I don't know if it's legit, but it's out there. I've seen it. But I don't know what my blood type
we'll
is.
have to put that in there.
I'll have to look for that.
My blood type is O negative. What's your blood type?
I don't know what it is. Because you have to go give blood. And I don't give blood because I'm scared of needles. So I haven't gone to give blood.
You should know your blood type. Everyone should know
That's the
their
only
blood
way
type.
you know. When I was sick and I went to the blood doctor and I said, can you guys tell me what my blood type is? I mean, my God, you're getting fucking pints of it over here. And they're like, no, no, we don't have a way of doing that. I mean, isn't that a little BS? Does it
Yeah,
make any
that's crazy. So I donate blood because I'm O negative, so they're always hounding me. But then like one day I was thinking like,
Let's
what if
find
this
out.
blood doesn't actually go to the hospitals? Like what if it's used for nefarious purposes?
It
And
is.
I was like,
It's another rabbit hole we need
I
to go
mean,
down.
I'm probably still gonna continue to donate because, like, when Callahan was born, she had to have a bunch of blood transfusions and, like, things like that sit with me, so, like, I guess if, like, you need my blood every once in a while, but it does make you wonder, like, where is my blood actually going? Like, how is there proof
You
that
really have a shortage. Yeah.
how is my there proof that my bag of blood made it to the hospital? Like,
Yeah.
we should be able to track where our blood went when we donate
I
it.
100% agree because I don't think it's all going. Now, there are several different companies that, get blood. I think there's specifically a certain one that I would not trust, and it's the largest one. that everybody knows about. But I mean, I've seen a long time ago, I saw articles where people had evidence that it was not all going to hospitals and things like we thought, but there is no
What
trace of
letter
where
does it start with?
are.
RC.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not who I donate to, but there's already been speculation.
Yeah. But it's something to look
Well,
at. It's something to look
yeah, we
into.
can look into that. But so the question, all of this ties into the question, why are we making the same mistakes? If history tells us when you start to play God, God gets mad and God does not act kindly, could all of these increase weather disasters? Like, are they weather modification just sprinkled in with a little bit of God's fury? Like, I really think that we're playing with fire out there. And
Yeah.
then, it's like
Sure.
next week we're gonna dive into the business of a disaster recovery and what a nightmare it was after Hurricane Helene for all of the people getting assistance from the government. All of the effort was grassroots effort, but then you have all of these big corporations out there that have disaster recovery teams, which seem innocent enough. But when you
Yeah.
really dive into it and you find out how much money they're making off of these government contracts, it makes you wonder. And then you find out about the fraud and the scams that are benefit concerts and things like that, which really, really start to
Like,
make
does
you
that money does it?
question
Yeah. Does it really go to
where
the
is
people?
where is the money and why aren't we truly helping people after disasters? So next week, that's what we're going to dive into. And we appreciate you joining us tonight. It's been wonderful. Heather, any final thoughts?
Well, let us know if you've been in the Bermuda Triangle and you got this weird feeling, or if you are from Bermuda and you would like to come on our podcast and talk about how you believe that, you guys are from the ancient civilization. We would love to talk to you.
Love to talk to you. So let us know. Again, bless your heart and stay curious.